Hello there. You're listening to the Sort Yourself Out podcast. This week, we're discussing the one thing, yes, one single thing you need to do to improve your life and advance along your path. I'm your host, Janine Hunt, natural health therapist for over 30 years, hypnotherapist, lifelong student, and spiritual seeker. I like to seek out the most effective practices and techniques that provide the greatest bang for my buck and the fastest route to freedom from whatever is holding us back. I can't wait to share with you these powerful techniques so that you too can sort yourself out, know deeper meaning in your life, and best of all, a sense of inner peace. So let's get started. Well, hello there, and thank you so much for joining me today. I think you'll like this week's topic, as we are invoking simplicity and taking things down to a place of ease and flow as we discuss the one thing you need to do to improve your life and advance along your path. Now, simplicity is such a good thing because often we feel overwhelmed by all there is to do. We've got so many options and possibilities, and we get blocked by indecisiveness and fear, especially fear of making the wrong move. Also, sometimes we don't even have a clue what to do with our lives. There's nothing that really speaks to us, and we bumble along despairing that we'll ever find our thing. But here's the good news. You don't have to have it all planned out and know exactly where you are going. You only need to know the next step. Just one thing to do. It might not even be a big momentous step. It might be something little, like you get an inspiration to call a friend, and from there, a new opportunity opens up. Maybe she tells you about someone else who can help you in some way, or that is offering what you need to move along your path. So one thing leads to another. I'm going to illustrate this with an example from my own life. There have been several of these instances that seemed pretty inconsequential on the surface, but with hindsight, I can see how they allowed my whole life and my purpose in life to unfold for me when I had not the slightest clue myself. So years ago, way back in 1987, I was living in Toronto, working in customer service at a cellular telephone company. That was in the days when a cell phone was not even really portable. It was a car phone. And if you wanted to go portable, it was like lugging a couple of bricks around. It was a whopper. Anyhow, I'd been working at this company for a couple of years, and I knew by then that this was not my path. I wanted a change. And also, I had just discovered that my boyfriend was cheating on me and that he wasn't away on holiday with his friends, as he'd told me, but was away on holiday with another woman. And he also worked at that company. So I got out the paper and started looking at the job offers. And one ad jumped out at me. It was to be a silver service waiter at a posh tennis resort in Northern Ontario. So I roped a friend into driving me up there for an interview. And by the time my cheating boyfriend got back from his holiday, I was history. I was toast. I'd quit my job, moved out of my apartment, and I had moved up to this resort. Now, I think you'll admit that this was a pretty juicy result in terms of sticking it to the old boyfriend. But on the surface, it doesn't really look like an amazing job that's going to take me far in life. But I was motivated to act. An opportunity appeared, and I leapt at it. It was a single step, but holy cow! With hindsight, I can tell you that that single step opened up a whole life path for me. Firstly, it was a joyous experience living in a cabin on a beautiful lake at the resort. It was just the change I needed. And also, this resort didn't pay us until the end of the season. They gave us food and lodging, and I could withdraw some money from them if I needed it. But the bulk of the money that I earned was handed over to me at the end of September as a lovely lump sum when the resort closed. And this meant that I finally had a nice chunk of cash to go to Europe with. I'd always wanted to go to Europe and especially live in France, but I'd never managed to save the money. And at the resort, I made friends from all over the world. They hired a lot of French chefs and waiters and sommeliers, and I met people that I could go and stay with in Europe. And that's what I did. Within a couple of months, I was in London, England, staying with a friend I'd made at the resort. Now, was living in London my end goal? No. France was what was really calling me, but it was a step in the right direction. And it was also the path of least resistance for me because I was able to live and work in the UK thanks to my Scottish grandparents. So that's what I did for a while. And then once again, I got itchy feet and wanted to move closer into the heart of London. So I got out the old paper and started looking through the flat share ads. And there, in amongst the ads for apartment shares, and surely in the wrong place in the paper, was an ad for someone looking to share a house, not in London, but in Brittany, France. No strings attached, the ad said. So I called the number and left a message. Now, the upshot to this is that the next day I arranged to meet the guy. We hit it off immediately, and we've now been together for 32 years. Yes, it was Steve, my husband, who placed that ad. No strings attached, my ass. So we didn't get to Brittany immediately, but I moved in with Steve 2 weeks later, and it was through his influence that whole areas of the world that I had no idea even existed, that had never even entered my radar in Canada, opened up to me. Through him, I found my life's work, and I was off and running. So in the space of a little over a year from when I quit my job in Toronto, I was in Europe with the dude who has turned out to be my life partner and had found meaningful work that I have continued to study and practice till now. Amazing. All of that in a little over a year. When I had no idea what I wanted to do with my life, other than I knew that I had this deep yearning to be in France since I was a kid. It took us over a year to move to France. He had to sell his apartment in London, but meanwhile we had visited Brittany, and I was gaga and totally in love with Steve and with France. I had never seen such beauty, such magnificent old buildings and beautiful countryside. But in that year in London, I began my career in natural medicine. I trained first as a massage therapist and then as an aromatherapist. And then the day after I took my final aromatherapy exams, we moved to France. And I had no idea where this was leading when I quit my job in Toronto. But things unfolded for me in such perfect ways when I was willing to go with the flow and then leap when opportunities presented themselves. And there have been many more occurrences like that, seemingly small on the surface, that have been instrumental in the bigger picture of my life. Like a few months after moving to France, my vet's wife phoned me. Yes, I'd gone the whole hog and got a puppy. And she offered me a job teaching English for a few hours a week to the kids at a couple of local schools and to some adults in a night class. Now, I was not thrilled with this offer. This was not up my alley at all. It was so far out of my comfort zone. But the money was welcome, so I leapt. And in this case, though, the money was just the tip of the iceberg in terms of the benefits that this job gave me. Basically, as a Canadian, I was not legally entitled to work in France. But through this job offer, I was granted the right to work in France, which has benefited me to this day. So what I'm saying here is that you do not need to have it all planned out. Just make one step that feels good to you, and then life will put things in motion and step in with synchronicities and opportunities and meetings with people who can help you or mentor you or get you to the next step. Sometimes you'll get an idea or have a revelation that leads you to your next step or provides an impulse to act in some way that moves you forward. The great thing about this is taking inspired action, not the kind that most of us are used to, where we push and force our way through. You know, we get the bit between our teeth, prepared for adversity and hard-going advancement, fighting every step of the way because that's how we've always done it in the past. It's what our parents and teachers have taught us about the world. It's what Darwin's evolutionary concepts that most of the scientific world has taught us, that we must fight tooth and nail for survival and all that we want, that we're in competition with everyone else, and that life is a giant, relentless struggle. So I'm talking about a different approach entirely, where we focus on cooperation, not competition. We cooperate with our own energy, with our higher selves, and with the sources of inspiration that exist beyond the knowledge of the ego here on the physical plane. There are greater forces at work than you know about from your standpoint as an individual person. I mean, call me naive, but I did not even know that the field of work I was going to enter and focus my whole adult life on even existed. So this is about opening up and allowing inspired ideas to flow to you, and then taking inspired action. And then the next step after that will be revealed. And you will feel confident about it too, because it will feel good. That's how you know it's a good move. It feels good to you. It doesn't make you wary or full of dread. Now, there may be a sense of fear you experience, but it's actually excitement. And it feels a little scary because you're moving beyond your established comfort zone. That always feels a little uncomfortable by its very nature. But often this step, this inspired idea, although new to you, will take you forward via the path of least resistance. You will flow through it as life unfolds, rather than struggling all the way, forcing and forcing and forcing. Now, I am not saying do not make plans or goals for your life. I'm talking about an alternative way of allowing good and inspiring ideas to come to you. Opportunities that you'd never even dreamt of putting on your to-do list. So you don't need to have it all mapped out. Save yourself the stress of that and focus on the next step ahead. That's all you need to know. And then allow the higher forces to step in and offer you opportunities. Now, some tips here are to be playful in your attitude about this. Have a sense of wonder and positive expectation that life is always working out for you. This is a great mindset to adopt for all areas of your life. So to help you be proactive and to work on this mindset, so you start expecting great things and that things always work out for you, I have a free audio download, The Life Conspires to Make Me Successful Affirmations, based on the principle that all consciousness inherently seeks to fulfill its highest potential. These affirmations program into your mind what each cell, atom, and chromosome already knows, that it is uniquely suited to its environment and that it will develop and mature and fulfill itself. And if your cells know it, why not the whole you? So this download includes affirmations for health, prosperity, and success, and instills the belief that things are stacked in your favor and that you are attracting inspiration, opportunities, and miracles into your life. So you don't need to struggle and force your way through, relying only on your individual resources, when you open yourself to the support of life itself. And that's what I'm talking about how all of these wonderful things unfold for you when you take that first step. So you don't want to miss this, and you can get it, the Life Conspires to Make Me Successful affirmations, at theinspirationcloud.com/SYO46. And those are the numerals for 6. And I'll put a link in the show notes. Now, if you're interested in taking your well-being to the next level and being better than happy, why don't you sign up to the waitlist for my upcoming Inner Circle membership? I've been talking about this for ages, I know, but you know what it's like. Things always take longer than you think. But I'm getting there, and it's getting so close. So the Inner Circle is a monthly membership where I'll be teaching my most powerful top-down techniques to sort yourself out, to free yourself of your hang-ups and blockages, to take charge of your mind, and to nourish your soul. If you've been listening to this podcast, you'll know that I'm all about giving you the tools you need to transform your life. And in the Inner Circle, there will be mini courses, hypnosis sessions, guided meditations, EFT tapping videos, neurolinguistic programming techniques, mindfulness training, the ageless wisdom teaching, and so much more. So that wherever you are on your path to greater well-being, you can start right there and then take the next step when you're ready. You'll have all the tools, practices, and techniques that you need to not just heal your life, but to make it more meaningful, fulfilling, peaceful, and beautiful. That is better than happy. And I'm making this transformation process enjoyable for you using these really fun and engaging animated videos that you're going to love. So it's not going to be boring slideshows and talking head videos with my head there going blah, blah, blah. Seriously, you're going to love learning this way. It's so fun. So if you're ready to transform your well-being and be better than happy and would like to be kept informed, go on over to theinspirationcloud.com/membership to get on the wait list, and I'll keep you in the loop. Okay, my friend, that is all for today. Thank you so much for spending your time with me. I really do appreciate it. So take care, and I'll see you next week. Bye-bye. Thanks so much for listening to the podcast. I really hope you found it helpful and full of uplifting ideas that you can put into practice in your life. And if you have, chances are your friends and family will too. So please share it with them on social media. You'll be helping them to sort themselves out, because I bet you think they need it, right? But seriously, you'll also be doing me a huge favor, and I will be eternally grateful for your generosity. It would also be lovely if you would leave me a review on iTunes, preferably a nice one, please. And don't forget to subscribe to the podcast while you're there. If you have any questions or would like me to address a certain topic, I'd love to hear from you. You can email me at info@theinspirationcloud.com. Have a good one, folks. Thanks again, and I'll see you next week.